welcome to another episode of the Journal Club podcast. I'm Esha and I'll be your host today. And in today's episode, we will go back in time and relive our freshman experience. And to do that, joining me today are VKP, Vinith, Jimmy, and Tarun. Guys, please give an intro about yourselves.
So yeah,
Yeah,
so
go on.
I'm VKP, as everyone calls me.
Full name, full,
Full name.
full name, come on.
No, they
Full
can't
name.
handle that. They can't handle that. So let's just stick to VKP. So I joined BITS in 2015, did my degree in EC, and then I graduated in 2019. Came to the US, North Carolina State University, currently doing my master's in computer engineering. Will be graduating here next May. I don't know what I'm doing after that. And yep, that would be it for now.
All right. Vinith, will you go next?
Yeah. So hello guys. My name is Vinith. As you guys know, I'm from 2016 batch. I did my bachelor's of pharmacy at BITS, and now I was supposed to start my master's, but because of COVID, I'm sitting here doing a random ass job in a startup. That's it, I guess.
All right. Jimmy?
Hi everyone, I'm Sandeep Jimmy, and I'm in my fourth year of mechanical engineering, 2015 batch, 2017 batch. Hopefully graduating by 2021. Right now in fourth year,
Hopefully.
not
Hopefully.
hopefully,
Jimmy.
hopefully.
There's hope there, Jimmy.
And at this point, they already delayed the compre for last semester to this semester and probably next semester. By the time you graduate, you never know.
Oh.
All right. Tarun, give an intro about yourself.
So I am 2018 batch,
Intro there.
triple E. 2018 A3. So the branch is triple E. And so I'm in third year, currently suffering with you all. So yeah.
All right. I'll also give my own intro. I am Esha.
Intro there. We need
दे रही हूँ,
VKP.
दे रही
This is the best. This is
Our
the
intro
best
with-
chance. She's getting interacted
yeah.
by a 2015 batch.
Yeah. Someone she's never met on campus.
Never met before.
I mean, she probably never has seen me on campus before. Given her 1-1, I was doing my PS2, and then her 1-2, I was busy being a goat.
You did one in our first year.
Her 1-1, you weren't even on campus. You were in NCU. NCS.
No, he was there. No, obviously.
Yeah. No. 2019
graduated.
ka first
19.
semester, I
Oh
graduated.
yeah, this is 2019. Yes.
Yeah, her first semester, I was on campus for 2 days for convocation. That's it.
Yeah.
So she probably never has seen me before.
Never saw you.
So, yeah.
All right. I'll just give a brief intro about myself. I am Esha, 2019 batch. My branch is civil.
No.
A2.
ID number.
ID
number.
ID number.
Oh yeah, we should actually go down in order and tell our ID numbers. That would be fun.
Okay. So my ID number is 2019A2PS0861H.
Hang on.
Yeah.
A2 is civil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said your last 3-4 digits was?
0861.
Okay, cool.
Are you matching?
No. My brain.
It changed. It completely changed.
I'll
So
tell you, my brain just registered 086H. It didn't register the 862. Like it just registered 86. I was like, wait, 86 civil doesn't correlate. What is
Makes
happening?
It actually does, because for 18 batch and 19 batch, it's completely different, right? It's dependent on
Yeah,
your
the system
branch.
changed.
No.
Based on the
Only
application.
for 18 batch. It's only for 18 batch. 19 is mark wise only. Yeah.
I don't know, dude, what's happening there, but yeah.
Yeah.
See, they had a perfect system and they messed with it and then they went back. So
Even then, there was that iteration batch, campus change and all that thing.
campus change and Beach May, I don't know. I think 2017 had like some random 1100s and 1200s, right?
Hi, we had that because there was the kid cut international students cutting, and there were like a lot of campus changes because
With your
uh,
batch.
with my batch there was like there is 1060 or something like that students in our batch.
Yeah.
So given the batch changes, branch changes, and all, there were a lot of pluses and minuses and all that.
Yeah.
So it went to
I'm
1200s.
sure we'll get to that later. For now, let's let Isha finish.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I just told you my ID number. What else do you want to know? Um, okay, fine. So, okay, we'll just go ahead. I'm really glad that we all could make it here to have this nice chat. And speaking of campus and expectations and everything, what were your expectations after 12th, after having spent 2 or 3 years in books? Did you have any expectations from campus? And what would your I mean, did you have an idea about what your campus life would have been like as well? And did BPHC meet those expectations? So,
Who's answering
BKT.
first? Me
Yeah,
again?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, you.
Oh, I am the
The
default
set
first
order
answer
is
for
like
this
Yeah,
that.
one.
you
Okay,
are
okay.
setting this example for us.
Oh my God. Okay, so I
My
am
good senior
from.
should be. My good senior
I
should
think
be.
I'm beyond that, Jimmy. Like we're done with that phase. So anyway, yeah. So I am from Hyderabad, and I studied in Hyderabad until my 12th. I actually gave my BITSAT on campus. So I had actually seen the campus before, coming there to get my hostel room allotted. So I don't know. My expectations. I didn't really have any expectations before coming here. It was just okay. Let's see what happens, kind of a thing. Because like I didn't want to have expectations of, I don't know, good, bad, anyway, and then just not have those
Be
expectations
let
met.
down.
Yeah, so I just came in, no expectations. I mean, I guess I did have a slight advantage in my initial days in that I had been to the campus before and I like vaguely knew what was going on because like people were talking, okay, yeah, registration is going to happen in CAD labs. I was like, okay, this is where I gave my bits at, so I know where this building is in relation to the main gate and the hostel. So yeah, that would my early days on campus were just. I still remember my first room, R346. So that was a fun room. It had a really nice view of the hostel,
You
QTN.
are three.
R3, yeah.
Oh God.
It was me in R346, Tushar in 344, Akhil Chalapilla all the way at the end of that wing. There was Jayesh Sanwal on the other wing, like right beside us. There was KKC in that wing. So we had lots of fun in that wing.
Wow.
So, and this was like right overlooking the volleyball court. So if like people were playing at like 3 in the morning, I would just go sit outside the window on the ledge and just watch people play. So yeah, that was my and early days. If you want to talk about academics, I remember. I don't remember much in terms of academics from my early days. I do remember one thing though. Lecture one of mechanics, oscillations and waves. Uh, Kannan Ramaswamy sir. We get into F102. It's like all these kids are like, "Bitsat mein acha kiya, nahi kiya." We're there, and then I don't know if he said the same to you guys, but he's like, he said something like, I know you're maybe a bit disappointed that this is not an IIT, but you guys are here and you are um, out of 3 campuses, you are one of 2,000 people who got in among the lakhs who've applied. So be proud of that, is what he said on day one, lecture one. So that is something that stuck
Yeah,
with me.
yeah.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, that's really nice.
You were
Um,
pretty lucky that you had Kanan Ramaswamy sir then, because we had Asrul Haq.
oh,
And
okay.
what happened was, for the first 5 to 10 minutes, for the first 5 minutes at least, because it took time to set up and all that. I genuinely thought that he was one of the technicians, because you don't expect a prof to walk in gym pants and that kind of, like, he literally, as well as every single time I've seen him in class, he has always walked in the yoga pants, like he just came from the gym. He's wearing the tank top and gym pants and sneakers.
I mean,
Oh.
at least
That is
he's setting an
not something you
example.
would that is not something you would expect from a, like, you in your school you are like, good morning ma'am, good morning sir, and all that. Once
And
you come
then,
to college,
yeah,
the
You
first thing
come
that
here
you see
and
is like,
then
you see
yeah.
this guy over here, like,
Yeah.
Like they said, it's like school में they said this fearsome, like they put the fear of God in you. That like you must respect your professors. Like either we are teaching you, we are tough on you because college mein professors will be the same way. And then you get to college and you're like, eh, what is
Yeah,
this
that's a
lying?
bullshit.
That
like,
respects last only for a week, I think. Like even if after a week you are like, okay, he's like this.
see, that's the thing, it didn't even last for 10 minutes.
So I think my batch, we had Thiru Vikram, PKT, yeah, that guy who gave the meal. But so the thing is, since being a pharmacy student, I had a choice, clear-cut choice. I could take the normal Mach oscillation and waves, do the mathematics, go through the same things as engineering students, or take the easy way. And then I attended one tutorial by PKT, and I'm like, why should I put in this effort again, all over again? I'd rather just go back, change it to normal physics, and just concentrate on what I want to do. So that is what happened.
So Vinith, you guys also have had the choice of choosing math one or general maths, right?
Yeah, I had a choice because I had done both math and biology in my 11th.
Right. So how does that work? Like, what is the progression? Like, is it like we had M1 ProbStat, M2, M3. So for you guys, is it the same?
No, so for us it's like so M1 for us is same NCRT math, because there are a lot of people who haven't done math at all in 11, 12, so they do the same differentiation, integration, normal stuff. Math 2 for us is Thomas calculus, and it's also differential equations mixed. And then Math 3 becomes optimization for us. So that is a difference.
Ah,
So they have
Isn't that like,
optimization in a third one, which is
So like
actually
what
because
all the matrices and stuff and all that is
yeah.
literally in Math 1 itself.
Yeah, linear programming and this thing comes in Math 3 then for us. So the optimization gets covered. Linear algebra is in that, and we do prop stats in our second semester.
yeah, I remember sitting with second year rights in prop stat class.
I mean, all like I'm repeating thermo right now, and literally everybody doing thermo right now, because there's no 2020 batch, is pharma students and guys who are repeating. And
Yeah.
like, not throwing dirt on you guys, but when you reach to fourth year mechanical, you do thermo, you do aptom, you do IC
I
engines,
know
and
that.
you do heat transfer. Then thermo is so easy. Like, it's
dude,
But you know what?
to be fair, Jimmy, I know what you're talking about because I
Oh
repeated
yeah, I
triple in my
remember.
final semester. Remember?
Yeah,
Like
I do.
yeah, it wasn't out of necessity. Like nobody was forcing me. It was just me personally wanting to do that. Like I remember, I was studying with Tarun for a while. Like he was pinging me about doubts. Like I was pinging him like prof ne kya bola class mein, kya chal raha hai, and then that sort of thing was happening. So yeah, like all these kids there, like I am like, you haven't done EM yet. What are you talking about? It
Yeah.
just gives you more context. That's it. Like once you've done all of these second and third year courses, like you're like triple E.
Good
It's
old
tough.
times. Good old days.
Yeah, yeah. That like, it's like wait, I
so
sucked at this.
Oh,
the talking of thermo, na, so that was my first class where like it was a tute on my some I remember it's a tute, and there was Jeevan Jaidi sir. I don't know if he teaches anymore or not,
Mm-hmm.
but he was
That
like
was a nightmare.
very in the beginning he was like very sweet, and he asked the first question he's asked, how many people of you had breakfast? And now that was the first day, everyone was nice, ready, bathed, and ready for class. So everyone raised up. So I'll ask this question to you 1 month later. And let's see then what happens.
Oh.
How
Something that
many
is
people were in class?
teaching, and I was like, "ये तो हो जाएगा." Like, this is easy. College life is easy. Yeah, and I did well in the first semester. The second semester was the problem. When they got prop
Advanced.
stats and they got
Acha, prop
M2
stats.
in.
Yeah.
That's
So prop
the
stats,
whole
actually,
start.
I was like, so my other courses, which were not pharma people courses, they were going not very good. And then so prop stat comes in second year. 2 this is. So and by that time you get pretty serious. Okay, I mean, if you study. And then I'm like, okay, this course I have to do something. Okay, I have to put effort and do this properly. So I started off and I was like, okay, this is easy. This is going in the same direction as before. So it's nice. And then I missed a few classes and then I'm like, okay, this course is gone. I cannot do this. And plus, the math teachers that we had were very nice. They were like, okay, you should learn stuff and things like that. But prop stats made the people who were correcting the papers, they were like, you don't use our method, you don't get the marks. Just fuck off.
That's very
I didn't know about
very
this.
common in the math department, by the way, because like
I did not know
what-
about that.
because the thing is, I was repeating math 2 in summer term. So what happens is I get pretty much everything in math 2. I'm like, fuck it, I'm getting full marks in this because that's
Yeah.
how much I studied. But then what happens is for the last one question, the thing is you could solve it in 2 ways. One way is the class taught method, but the second method is via just old matrix multiplication. I would have gotten full marks if I had done the matrix multiplication properly. He just cut off like 5 or 6 marks and it went from 10 to 6 or something like that. And like one entire, like one question cost me 10 to 6, like 4 grades just went down.
Yeah, I can totally get that because I got half the marks with all the right answers and I was like, okay, I'm not doing this course anymore. I'm not putting any effort. Let it go to
Dude,
shit.
that's still okay. So when we were doing math 3, okay, math 3 is like I'm just not good with differential equations in that level of calculus. Like I can handle basic differentiation, like that stuff, integration and above. I cannot do it. Like, I just simply can't. So math 3 was happening, and then I ended the semester with 18 out of 200. I got 6 in T1, 3 in T2, and 9 in Compre. So that was 18 out of 200. Like I barely scraped by with a 2 in that course. Now compare this to a person in my wing. He had before Compre, he had I think like 118 out of 120 or some shit like that. And like he ended that he was either first or second for that course. So it just
No, so Divi was doing prop stats with me, and so he used to not go for classes. I used to not go for classes. He was a 9-pointer, so I did not know that time. And then I was like, this guy's being casual about it, and then yeah, maybe we can sit and do it at some point. But then I realized the marks
Then
difference that he got. Yeah,
yeah.
Like there
He
is
was
that
very
thing,
good.
right? Your entire fresher experience changes a lot because of how exactly your first few days also work. Like if you go to
Yeah.
classes, if you don't go to classes, how focused you are and all that. Like it
So
sets the precedent per se. Like
yeah.
Vinith was like much more different than me, I'm betting.
No, so basically, I had chill classes actually because so once I removed the math and physics from my this thing, so so all my 8 a.m. classes just vanished, and I didn't have any classes on Saturdays, and I was like, okay, this is so good for a first semester. This is really good,
Wow, that is
and
actually pretty good. Yeah.
so I didn't even
Yeah,
have to
very.
attend all, and I didn't attend biology classes. I didn't attend half the classes, so it was nice. It's very chill.
Mine was the exact
Biology
opposite.
was
I
one
had a
subject.
lab on Saturday.
Oh, labs sucked.
Oh,
Labs
that's
have killed me throughout my time at BITS. Labs
I
have
did
killed
have
Dude,
like I had
labs.
work. I had a lab on Saturday. That was the sadder part. So like after like first week, first week itself, I'm pretty sure my attendance dipped to it wasn't 100. It was some 60 or something like that. So
So
that itself was high. Labs were the
no,
only things.
So
Dude,
first time I
labs
had,
genuinely saved my grades. Like there were courses where I would have
Exactly.
NC'd, but because of labs, I got like a 5 or 6 because of the lab comp. And these are 4 credit courses. So getting a 2
Correct.
compared to getting a 6 makes a
yeah.
huge difference. So labs
I know what you're
saved
talking
me.
about. I know what
You
you're talking
clear
about.
the
I've gone through.
those kind of things help a lot if courses are like that. So like in my second year, the course that we had, like it was split, so there was a separate lab course per se, so it didn't have anything. The only thing that was common with the normal courses were the theory was there, but otherwise the marking didn't matter. But 19 batch guys are so lucky, they have it integrated into the regular course. So like we had four 3 credit courses. These guys have two 4 credit courses and two 3 credit courses. We had one separate 2 credit lab. These guys have that two 4 credit courses and their
I
labs
mean,
boost their grades.
that's actually nice that like the department is changing stuff in a way that
Exactly.
is useful to the students.
Yeah, but then
E-
there's no point in us doing labs right now when we're sitting at home, right?
Over
Like, especially
simulations.
for,
Definitely. Like, but
yeah,
the thing
yeah,
is,
like,
see, because of this, your grades just boost up. Like, it's labs
yeah, that
invariably
makes
boost
sense.
your grades way above fours or
Yeah,
qualified.
And
that's
You
and
have to mess up
yeah,
that bad.
like it doesn't show up in one course or one semester, but over the course of 4 years, it shows up. It adds up. It shows.
Yeah.
I think I had like 3 or 4 courses which did not have labs in my entire time at BITS. Like, I mean, saying pharma courses especially, only 3 or 4 courses. So yeah, labs. But yeah, I mean, for you guys, it's still, I don't know, you like labs maybe, but
I do because mostly because
that's
like
okay.
I personally I am somebody who needs to be like, see, if having somebody say if you put paper on a fire it will burn is different from somebody actually putting fire on a paper
Burning.
and showing it burn. So
I
like
mean,
Yeah,
like,
that's
that's good. That way,
like
yes, it makes sense.
I prefer the practical experience. So
there's no doubt about that. Like, I'm pretty sure all of us prefer the practical approach. But the thing is, you have to be interested in that subject.
Yeah,
So,
for
like,
example, workshop, for
that's
example, I would not want
exactly,
to go and do that ever again.
exactly.
And we
So, like,
had 2 people faint, okay, in our group, and that was sad.
was
You
it in the
remember that?
summer
What?
semester?
Yeah, the filling thing. So the main problem
oh,
is we had 6 labs in our semester that semester. So it was very bad. We used to like just run for lunch, come back, attend the lab, go back, attend lectures. So it was very bad. So we were doing the filling thing, and a girl fainted while doing
Oh
the
my God.
Yeah,
filing that thing.
filing. See,
yeah.
that tells
Filing.
you how much
Filing.
Vinith doesn't know like workshop. It's filing, Vinith.
I'm
It's
like, is it
Okay,
the
sorry.
molten filling that melty
No,
yeah,
that
filling
was
thing
fine.
or
That
That's
was still
fitting,
good.
right?
Okay.
that is
Fitting.
fitting.
Sorry.
yeah.
Shit, it's fitting. It's fitting. It's
It's
Oh,
fitting.
fitting.
it's so mine was also a second
Very bad.
semester workshop, so it was at like 11 in the morning. So I used to go there, wake
I
up,
had it
go.
in two. I had it at
Mine
2 in
was
afternoon.
mine
Summer
Even
was
mine
semester.
was at
sem
2.
one
I
ultra.
had
Like
it
mine was
at
like
wait, I had it to like 12 1 to 3. Yeah, so it was the worst
What?
time.
One.
I mean, do
whatever.
we have labs from 1 to
Yeah, yeah.
3?
Yeah.
We
We
had
do?
we had because we had 6 labs and so many courses to squeeze in that semester. We had 1 to 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
see, the thing is for 18 batch and 19 batch, for you guys specifically, the admin sort of had a push from their own side. You will have a sort of timetable where you won't have, like, you will have a few lunch hours or something like that free.
For
So
us, it
Oh.
was a wild west
ours,
free for
ours
all.
we had to literally prepare it by ourselves. They wouldn't care, nothing like that. The timetable was such that there was invariably a few people, at least for sure, like at least
Skipping lunch.
10
Yeah.
to 20 people who had to skip lunch one day.
Oh.
Else
Yeah.
you had to do that.
That
You have to do
actually
that
brings
10.
me to interacting with people, honestly. So my first semester, my timetable was so chill. I used to like go home. Like I don't know, I went 10 times that semester,
Oh
and
my
the second
God.
semester I could go only once.
Wait.
So that I don't know.
Wait, one sec. Vinith, you're not from Hyderabad, right?
No, I'm from Bangalore.
Yeah. So
Oh
So
that
my
how
God.
was
You
like
you
that?
went to Bangalore
Is
10 times in the first semester.
Yeah,
I did,
that's.
yes.
Oh my God.
I
I
mean,
think 10.
I used to go home like once every 2 weeks. Like I used to just go home.
Okay, if not home, I used to
Get
go to
my
Hyderabad. Still, I used to go
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
I used to get my laundry done. I used to grab some food, and back then,
Yeah.
so back then the internet was let's just say the internet was fine, but
Existed or like
no, in my first year the internet was actually really good.
oh,
So my first year
That's
was
fine.
very nice, and then 2.1 was when they started restricting, started the data caps and all that. My first year the internet was actually really nice, but DC wasn't as established as it is currently. Like right now it's huge. So back then it was
wow.
like it was wild. So what I used to do was I had better internet at home. So I used to go home, download stuff for people, come back and upload it. And I used to get treats from people for doing that. They're like, bro, we can't
Oh,
find this on DC. Can you do this for us? So
Wait, so VKP was like one of the
that's
OG
nice.
DC gods.
Uh, I
yeah,
guess.
dude, I had a
Seriously.
share of about like 1.2, 1.5 terabytes in my
I
first
mean,
year.
this is like ancient times,
Oh,
so it's pretty
wow.
nice, I guess.
Yeah, so
And,
I shared a
Oh
lot,
my
and then I
God.
just stopped in my second year.
and VKP, you were I think I heard this from people that you were one of the first people to start the online gaming community. Like
Yeah, I
seriously.
think.
Yeah,
Not
VKP is
PS4.
sort of
really,
like
no, not really, no, because you probably heard it because I was the only one they knew about, because I know people in 2014 and 2013 who were already existing, and like the community existed, but it wasn't as big as it is today. So like it was just like maybe 20, 30 people. So
I
like,
mean, but the thing is, once VKP like start, like at this point, if you ask anything about anybody, at least if you ask me specifically, who do you think is like one of the seniors who like started gaming or like revolutionized gaming on campus? The first thing is you, because you have been that much active as well. Because
right,
I
that's
remember
I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why.
you hosted
I
one of
hosted,
the games.
yeah, I was hosting Fraglore for 2 years, I
Exactly.
suppose. So no, I'll tell you why. So what happened is in my second year, IPC started banning Steam. Right. So they were like, no, I got into Steam in my 1.1, towards the end of my 1.1. So this is November 2015, December 2015. So what happened 1 year later, 2016 batch comes, IPC decides it wants a tighter regulation on the internet. So it starts putting out a data cap, it starts blocking Steam, it starts blocking just anything with the word gaming in its, like it was like you could, it was so bad at a point you couldn't read articles about game development. It was that bad.
yeah, I remember this.
So
Really?
and then we were nice little students, okay? We went and asked the IPC. We were like, why? Like, show us the data. Like, we have data showing that Steam doesn't take this much bandwidth. And then like, no, like तुम लोग students हो, तुम लोग को क्यों game खेलना है, इधर पढ़ने के लिए आए हो, तुम लोग पढ़ लो. So I kind of sort of took that personally. I was like I don't know, it just felt like they were degrading people for playing video games, and I took that personally. So
That is there as well, right? Because once the thing is, it goes either way. Like when I came to campus, at least before coming to campus, like my fresher story per se was like 2 years. I mean, so the backstory is like I was pretty much raised in Kuwait mostly. So Gelf Mallu, that stereotype was like it's literally me. So till 10th grade, I was there. Then after that, 11th and 12th, I come to Kerala, study over there for 2 years. And then after that, because I didn't have any entrance coaching and all, I decided to like drop an year, study, figure out what to do. So the thing is, that entire year, I did study for engineering, but at the same time, it was more of a backseat for me because what happened was the year before I started the gap year, I decided to write the Naval Academy exams. And the thing is, by the time I started the gap year, it turns out I was shortlisted. So I was like,
That's nice.
I didn't prepare anything for that, and I still got shortlisted. I should try maybe doing preparing for that. So the thing was, physical conditions was a huge thing. My parents decided कि कुछ तो करना है, so they shipped me off for karate from like 5th grade or something like that. So that all I had to do was continue that. So alongside the whole gap year thing, there was also the physical fitness thing. Year out, I was like full time exercise this, exercise that, exercise this, exercise that, and at least like meet the minimum cutoffs for the that they specify in their handbook. Turns out what happens is I end up getting some ligament or something like that slightly torn in my hip once, and then by the year end I get bitsat ka scores. I do like the borderline pretty good 17 ka, so I get mechanical. But the thing is, Naval Academy has a stringent ICA parameter that it gets introduced. So it's at that point I walk into college thinking like, hell, this is good, this is great and all that, but it is also something that wasn't exact. That was like, it's an equal thing. It's like it's the first priority, but it's not like exactly the only first priority thing. So when you come into college, I'm like, I'll study, I guess, but I want to see what else is there.
Yeah, exactly. Like you come in, like
Yeah,
you have classes 8 to 5, and then you have lots of free time essentially. And what you do
Exactly.
with that free time should be up to you. It shouldn't be governed by some random abstract body who doesn't know what they're doing.
And the saddest and the thing was, see, like the attendance wasn't mandatory per se back in the gap year, but you still go to classes. Here, attendance is not at all mandatory. Nobody cares. Legit,
Nobody
nobody
cares.
cares, and
Nobody cares. No one's gonna ask you.
no one cares. No one asks. The
that's the
only person
best
who
part.
actually asked was Parimi Alivelumas, because I was close to NC for Triple E. And that was the only person who cared. She brought me to to her cabin. Now that's a completely different story because it was a freshers cut thing and all. So long story short, I played drag in freshers in my freshers. So the joke was कि we'll show club inductions, and fashion society was so bad at inducting people that guys had to dress up as girls. So I was there. I
Remember the
was
story.
yeah, the what happened, I think Vinith might have seen it. The video went
I
viral
didn't
here
think
and there. So what happens is I am literally there in that like Amul Macho kind of that this thing, that vest, the one with the this thin straps
Suspenders.
and red, not your suspender thin vest. So like the thing that you see in Dabang and all those kind of things. It was Prakars if I remember correctly, and I trim my legs off like completely.
Ooh.
All I have is like a above is a thigh length towel, a blue towel that's around my waist, and then I have one of my batchmates has a thin like the bag, like the purse kind of thing, like it's like this thin, like
Link.
this thin, and
Yeah.
it's just a
Sling.
bag on the side, a purse, and I am walking and I'm catwalking into the room. Like nobody expects it. The only people who know about it are the guys who are planning the play, but the students, the teachers, nobody expects it. And the chief warden at the time, KPN, was there. He sees this and he's legit speechless. And it gets even worse because I walk in and I'm like doing the whole leg to hip that whole thing.
Oh.
But I can see the only three people I recognize are KPN and Parimi ma'am, and she's literally like this. Now, after like 2 months or so, I walk into her cabin because midsem grades are out, and I'm like close NC, and she's like, "You have to study and all that." I walk in and she's like,
I've seen this.
Have you come to my classes? I've seen you somewhere. Have you asked questions?" So I'm like, "Are you in my tutorial?" That's what she asked. So I'm like, "No, ma'am." And in my mind, I'm like, "I know where you have seen me, but I'm not going to say it right now." I'm not
Oh
going to
God.
say that right now. She realizes later on, like she realizes by the ending of that meeting what exactly the reason is, and because of that embarrassment, she like when I started attending classes, she looks at me and she smiles, and I smile, and I realize that she understood.
She knows.
She
She
knows, she
knows.
knows. But because of that, though, I went from NC to 5 just by copy.
Oh,
So that was
that's
like
That's
the
good.
That's good.
biggest that I ever went. I mean, I did for another course also. I went from 2 to 7, but that and this were the only times that I went that
Achievement.
high. Achievement unlocked.
Dude, so coming back to attendance and classes and registration, I remember my first year. So basically, there was the orientation. I slept through that. Obviously, it's like 8-10 hours
Oh,
on first day. I slept through that very nicely. And then registration comes. I realized I have no idea how to use ERP. Okay, I was like, I don't know what this shit is. And then I was like, should I go to the CAD lab to register? I remember it was on a Friday at like 6 in the evening or something. My slot was on Friday at 6 in the evening.
isn't that
So,
very late? I mean, like you generally have it in the morning, right?
they flipped it somewhere along the way, but in our first year, it was opposite. So all the other batches would register in the first half of the day, and the first years would register in the second half of the day.
I
So
think it
that
fits with our
happened.
badge.
Yeah. So that happened, and then I was like, I realized I had no idea. I was like, I didn't at that point. I didn't know we could do registration from our room. I was like, okay, maybe this is some weird software that's only on the labs and shit. So I was about to go there, and then like I was like Ramba and say all the way to D Block. I was like, should I walk this far? And then my friend comes along. Like this was a guy who I had known in 12th also. So he comes along. He's like, bro, I just finished my registration. You can do it from the room. I was like, I don't know how to. It's like, I'll show you. So first year, you don't really have to think much for registration. You just select and register. So like they give you the list of courses basically. So I remember I finished registration. It was super quick. Okay, for some reason ERP was super quick. And then 6 o'clock slot, 6:15. I'm done registering. 7:15. I'm at home for the weekend.
Oh.
Like literally, I gulted home before classes began.
My experiences are like, exactly opposite of VKPs. Like I came to campus like this enthusiastic kid, like abhi aa gaya, abhi sab karega, main sab follow. So I was there. I even sat to that parents orientation thing that happened. Na, I sneaked and sat with the father.
Oh, right.
They're listening to the director scolding parents. That was fun actually. So, yeah, so
Wait,
like,
wait. Who was the director when you came in? Was it still V.S. Rao sir?
No,
It
GS
was
G
G
Sundar.
Sundar. G Sundar came in, was the director when I was in my, like when I started. So like 17 batch, so he's the director.
It was waste of us.
It was V.S. Rao for us. He was nice. Like he basically told, my mom was there. She was telling me, apparently he basically told parents, like they're adults now, let them do their thing. We won't contact you. We won't tell you if they miss classes. We'll only contact you if they fail a semester. But apart from that, they're adults. Stop being helicopter parents is what he told parents.
I think that the every single director says that to the parents. Of course, the parents telling it to us is a completely different story. But every single director pretty much says that. I'm pretty sure my mom and my dad still doesn't agree with that. Like if he said anything like this.
Yeah.
So that was the thing, and sitting through those preliminary orientations. So, Alivelu, I remember this particularly one moment, and that moment, like it was like Alivelu ma'am was at that time the placement coordinator for Triple E. So she came up to the stage. She's saying that there should be minimum 7 CG and all that stuff, and this is the placements and all that. So I remember I told my father that getting an 8 is easy. I'll maintain an 8. I'll study. Whatever. I only come to study now, so I'll study.
See, the best part here is the two people who are laughing is VKP and me the most, because Vinith studies like
I thought it was very easy. It
he got the
wasn't.
CG thing set. Like
It
at least
wasn't
that is there.
easy.
It wasn't easy. I'm not downplaying that at all. Like you tried and
No,
you
I'm
got
saying
it up to that. Right?
I'm laughing because I used to think it was so easy when you attend that orientation. You feel like, it's so easy, you can do it. You just have to attend all the classes. But it is not that easy at all.
Yeah,
like,
I will admit. It's
is
not difficult to get an 8. It's not difficult to get a 7 or 8 as long as you attend classes.
It got difficult
That's the
by
catch,
our
huh?
time to get an 8. I'll give you that. 7 is easy. 7 is easy if you attend the classes. That I like.
Yeah, you
But
attend
second
classes.
year,
Seven is
first year I
easy
think
if
you can
attend the
do this,
classes.
but second year you become very choosy. You don't want to attend all the classes.
No,
You're like,
you don't.
these classes you're not attending. So
Yeah,
at least I was.
Let's be
it
fair.
gets
There are a
worse.
few courses. There are a few courses that you can get by without attending a single class. There are a few courses that you can get by. Like, even though it's not mandatory, none of us has attended an EVS class. Come on.
I didn't
Like,
have EVS.
You
I
didn't
didn't
have
have
EVS.
EVS.
You didn't have EVS.
Yeah.
16 batch
Our
had
professor was
EVS or
very
not?
good.
16 batch
16
had
had
EVS.
I
EVS.
had.
16 had
had
It started
EVS.
with our batch, yeah.
I legit went for 2 classes. That's it. Our
You went for
compre,
two?
I went for 2 because one was because both were evaluative.
Yeah,
That's it.
even I went for the
That's
evaluative
it.
component. He
I
used to
just
send
went
us a
for the
mail.
group forming thing. I just went for that group forming and topic choosing thing.
I didn't
Never
even go
did.
for that. Like beforehand itself, I knew these were the guys that I was going to form the group with. Half of these guys are from my wing, so forget about it. I'm not going there. And
Guess who didn't
I
have
my
group
entire wing was
projects?
one group.
I never had
half of the wing was one group, and the second half of the group were Ilas JC, that kind of group. So there was like no doubt. We knew the group. We are not going to class. That's it. And Compre was even more worse because literally our entire wing was in 2 rows, and we all finished it within like 15 minutes. 15 minutes, one guy goes. Next 5 minutes, the second guy goes. And I'm like, okay, you're leaving. Okay, cool. I'll just tick.
Dude,
That's it. I'm
so
also leaving.
speaking of leaving exams early, I still remember Tarun's face when I was repeating triply. Okay, so in my 4 years at BIT, I have never, and I mean never, stayed the entire length of an examination. Like if it's a 1.5 hour exam, I leave in 45 minutes. If it's
Same.
3 hours, I leave in 2 hours or 1.5 hours. Like I have never sat through the full length. So I remember, I think this was Tripoli Compre. Okay, this was my absolute final exam. Like that exam was my last exam in BITS in my 4-2. So it was a 3-hour Compre. So
It all comes around as a circle.
Exactly.
Literally a circle.
Yeah, so I finished the exam like 3 hours. I finished in like 1.5 hours because at this point I'm used to this triple Phoenix courses. So I finished the exam. I come out. I'm chatting with Prabhakar sir and Kundu sir because like I was keeping those people updated about my master's admits and everything. So Kundu sir was asking me like where I was going, all that stuff. So I was doing that, and then Tarun comes out for a washroom break. Okay, so he just sees me standing there, bagged, like chatting. He's like, he gives me this look. He's like, "You're done already?" Sort of a look. And,
I actually remember this thing. So this was like that paper had me like I was like scrapping for marks in that paper. Like इधर से मिल जाएगा कुछ मिल जाए इधर से like. And I'm looking at this. I'm like, how is he? At that time, it didn't strike you that he's a 4th year and like, oh, he's above all this. At that time, it didn't strike us. Now that I'm in 3rd year, I know, okay, now I know why he was like that.
so I actually ended up getting an 8 in Tripoli on the second time round. So
That's nice.
That's nice, but like.
No, but this is good because I would never imagine, like with the courses that I did not do good at, I would never imagine doing them again because I think I'll get worse scores than what I got.
dude,
Yeah.
see, at that point,
the
you
same
couldn't
thing.
get a worse score than I did. I had
Exactly.
a 2 my first time around. So, like,
Okay.
I was sure, like, I wasn't going to NC triple F triple one in my final year.
Yeah.
I
maybe
mean,
that.
that's a thing, right? Like, especially when your entire degree is based on something like that.
Yeah,
there's it's
that
so
is the
hard.
difference.
Like the thing is, if for VKP doing triple E in 4th year is equivalent for Vinith doing bio in 4th year again, or like for me doing thermo like I'm doing right now in 4th year again.
Yeah,
There is no
Yeah, are you
way
doing
you
thermo
can't
again?
get that
he
low.
is doing
I'm
thermo
doing thermo. I'm the
Oh my
CT.
Oh,
Wow, that's amazing. Dude.
I'm CT minus 1. I think I'm like I know legit all the guys. The 4 people who got 10 in thermo. We know who each other are because we all copied from each other.
Oof.
So
Good.
I know that same level. All 4 of us are the same level, so it doesn't matter for us.
Dude,
No,
okay, so No, coming back to the concept of like not wanting to attend a few courses. So it's worse for Phoenix branches because second year mein you have all three branches ka things combined. Like you have a few courses from AAA, a few courses from ENI, and a few courses from EC, all spread out through your second year. Right. Third year is when it starts to diverge. Like third year is when you have EC specific courses and AAA specific courses. So second year, it's like now I am someone who's getting a degree in EC who is interested in the devices slash side of things. Now I have absolutely zero motivation to attend an electrical machines class or a control systems class because it's not something that I will ever do. Like I cannot see myself doing that. So I have zero motivation to attend that. So it's just that place in like once you start skipping electrical machines in my 2-1, I start skipping those classes, and then that spills over. I was like, like because classes are one after the other. Like skill in nahi ja rahe, why should I go for that? Why should I go for this? They just sort of spills over.
So this thing VKP said about machines, na? So I think that is relevant for most of the people because in core electrical, no one takes electrical branches for the core electrical thing. Very few people I've seen ever to talk about that. So these courses like machines and power systems and these are become obsolete when like people just want to do them for that sake. They become irrelevant when you sit for placements or anything. That is why the interest decreases.
Like it's dependent as well. So the thing is like you obviously see the branch shift and all that because like in VK I'm pretty sure I'm the odd one out here because I'm not interested in my branch per se. But like the thing is VKP still had incentives to go to some electrical class because the thing is he was interested in that. Like Vinith, though he's pro level at pharma. So he doesn't even come into the picture here.
But I did not attend all the classes.
But the thing is, you could still like manage, right? You could
Yeah.
still do pretty well. Tarun also is, I'm pretty sure, a lot more interested into the core side of things, right? Now the thing is, imagine me who has legit negative, like I don't care at all about how mechanical goes. I'm like, please let there be a, please let me get finance, please let me get finance, please let me get finance. Once I get finance, the problem is I realize it is not what it seems. So then I'm like, please let me just pass, please let me just pass, please let me just pass. Then after that, what happens is in 3-1, 3-2 is when I realize, damn, management courses exist. These are things that I'm interested in. These are things that I should do. So first chance I get, I'm like, negotiations, take that, easy aid. Next thing, strategic management. Okay, like next thing that. Project appraisal. Okay, that's a Dell for us. That's a minor course too, minor element too. Take that. Then supply chain management. Things like that are there, but you realize it too late.
Yeah, that comes up because I feel like BITS has a really nice course catalog, but they don't do a good job of telling students what courses
They
they
don't
are.
advertise it well enough. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
I
Like,
don't know if that's by
I agree with
design
that.
or not, but you actually have to go through the academic bulletin, like see which courses are available, see which ones you're eligible for with respect to prerequisites and everything. Like it's on the student. A lot of it is on the student, would which is I admit it's very difficult to do given that you wouldn't have done that before, and B, if you don't interact with seniors, because I found out that many courses
otherwise, it's
exist
just
purely because of my seniors. They were telling me, like, I just dropped them a message like, hey, like, what courses do you think I should take? And they tell me, like, this course exists. Like, I would have had no idea about those courses if it wasn't for them. So,
And yes,
it's like
in that also, like you have a particular set of seniors that you talk to, right? Like you don't take the entire picture in that.
yep.
So if I talk to some guy who's inclined towards finance, he'll be giving me finance. Like I'll tell you about this. I had this summer I was in a dilemma because my primary focus is on core, so I was looking for a backup. So I was thinking finance or IT. So if I talk to IT seniors, they will say finance won't give you opportunity. If I talk to others, so it is on the student to balance out the pros and cons. So that is something that we should.
the thing is like there is a certain like you will be more interested and you will find the interest to tell others more about what you like if there are things like if you are an IT person, or like if you are a core person, or if you are a specific mechanical oriented person, then you will be at a disposition to say more things about that as well, and what exactly is the benefits of it, because you already like it. So if you like something, you will end up looking at the benefits rather than the ill effects. Like everything has ill effects, there's no doubt about that. Everything has benefits as well. Finance में जा रहा है तो you will get if you get Nomura, you get pretty high place, you get pretty high stipends. But and the other side, what happens is if you don't get Nomura, then you are screwed. Or if you don't get one of the top 4 firms, you're screwed. But at the same time, it's similar for core also. You get a pretty nice place. The growth potential is pretty fast, pretty high. But but the ill effect is you need a pretty high CG, or you need that extensive of a portfolio, or things like that. So the thing is, you talk to people who are interested in the field, they'll obviously only see the good side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
that's a good.
Makes
one
sense.
thing can be a problem here is that you cannot always find people who are interested in it, because see, for me
Exactly.
it was very difficult. So I was core pharma, and then I was getting interested in neuroscience. It was getting very difficult to find people from biology background getting into that. All I knew was computer science, electronic students getting into that, and it was very difficult to navigate through that. Like what kind of courses I should do, what projects I
Yeah.
should take. It was difficult.
I think that ties in, like it becomes more difficult the more you progress. Like if you're a first year student asking, say, a fourth year student, like what humanities or what discipline elective should I take in my second year, that will be a much easier question to answer than compared to when a third year student is asking alumni
Open
for
electives.
advice for open
Exactly.
electives or disciplinary electives to do in his final semester. So that, like it becomes more difficult to answer that question as you get more specific about it.
Yeah.
The thing is, see, like in my, like for me specifically, what I felt is that there is a certain amount you can also get after asking profs. Like
That's
especially
what
if
I
they
did.
do the course. That's all.
But
In some courses, that's what I did,
Yeah.
but in other courses, it backfired horribly. So there
see,
are courses.
for,
So the thing is, things like, let's say there'll be some particular time period. Like for me specifically, PS1 was like in a cement factory, and legit nobody expects anything out of that, right? Like when anybody listens to it, you did PS1, okay, cool. That doesn't matter. That's the first thing itself. Second thing is you did it at a cement factory, bro. How low was your CG? That's the first thing that anybody asks. So
Yeah.
for me, the thing was when I went and asked people, my first question was like, "Paisa, will that be safe?" Because PS1 you rarely get accom. You rarely get accom. You spend a lot on food and a lot on the place. So I was like, that I want to save a bit. So I went to a senior, and he was a Phoenix student, and I asked him like PS1 at this cement plant, how was it? And what I did was I put all the econ PS stations places that I knew for sure that I wouldn't get at my CG, and then I put this PS station for cements at this particular place because the food was free, the stay was free, and the stay was AC with attached bathrooms and
Wait,
Wow.
single
is
room.
this which place was this?
It was Ravan Cements, Raipur.
Oh.
So the place was like impossible to get to. It was like 80 kilometers away from Raipur city. So you have to, and it's Raipur city. So you have to
Yeah,
realize how
exactly.
it was. The airport was scary. There was literally
Oh
nothing over
God.
there. There was like there was no KFC, no nothing. That was the first airport I've ever seen in my life that didn't have a fast food joint. That was the first airport. So the thing was, the time I went there, ironically, it was very enriching for me specifically because being a mechanical student, I got a project at a thermal power plant, and all those stuff are like not cutting edge per se, but they are a lot more on the. It's a lot more advanced than what you generally find out, and that starts like maybe mechanical is not so bad. So when you come back to campus, you are like, what can you do in mechanical in that particular field or this particular field? I go to some prof and the prof says, now the problem is the prof does the same thing as what happens when you talk to a student. They will say all the good things, they won't say the bad things.
Yeah.
So I end up doing asking, I end up going for something for a course known as scam. computer aided manufacturing. Forget halfway through the course, first 3 classes ke baad I realized, nope,
Not a thing.
Yeah.
definitely not my thing. It is literally the up till midterms, it's literally CNC from our first year workshop.
Ooh.
Oh,
But
not
after
good. I don't
midterms,
like
what?
that.
Yeah, see, this is the catch. After midterms, he introduces us to this software called Creo, and it turns out you don't need CNC ka codes anymore. You can literally just build
Things they
that
should have
thing.
told us before.
Exactly, you can build that thing out in 3D, and then the computer itself lets it
Yeah, it's
it prints out the
intelligent enough
codes.
to take care of that. Yeah.
Exactly. And it literally makes the first half of the course redundant. And by that time, I'm like, forget it. Should I drop it or not? What should I do? Unfortunately, I took it up. Might as well finish it up. That's the mindset at that point. So profs asking students, asking seniors, all of that, it's like they give you the benefits, they don't give you the negative sides. But at the same time, if there are seniors who didn't perform that well, they'll do the exact opposite. They'll be like, there are only bad things with this. There are no good things.
That is true. The advice you get is usually biased,
It's
one way
very
or the other.
skewed.
One
That's
more
the
Yeah,
thing.
thing.
so you
One more
have
thing.
to pick and choose who you talk to and how you interpret that as well.
Yeah, that matters actually.